Mushoku Tensei is a story about redemption and starting over to improve upon yourself and become a better person. Sounds like a simple and inspiring premise, right? Well, that's where you're wrong. You see, to understand redemption, first you must understand what are the initial flaws of said character, and how does he try to fix them, not to mention how the story makes the character deal with his problems. And I believe this story fails in every aspect depicting Rudeus' journey of redemption. Rudeus' characterization is made to show that he was a socially anxious person struggling to make friends because of his appearance and personality. For this reason, he was bullied and initially became a shut-in. That's what most anime-only people believe, and that's how the story portrayed itself. But that's wrong. Once he does something right in his life and saves a person, he is shown to be born as a pervert. And the popular cope is that he develops and grows to be better. Like, he develops to become a mature person, and as a mature person he develops a crush on a elf girl. That's right, a 40-year-old man is in love with an 8-year-old elf girl. So that establishes him as a pedophile. He's totally okay as a person to fall in love with that elf girl. He may look like a child, but his mind is still one of a fully developed grown-up. You may say that I'm nitpicking here, but let's enter his love interest number 2. His next love interest is an adult. Luckily this time she's at least older than 18. However, there's a catch, she's a loli, and looks like a child too. If you think this is getting weird, we're just about to begin. And finally, he gets another love interest, and it's yet another child, who is also his fucking cousin. 3 of the main girls are either literal children or lolis. That only shows that this story is written for pedophiles. Not only just basically pedophilia writing, that also means that the main character is grooming 2 of said characters. How do I know this? Well, it's because in the novels, Rudeus is married to all who was correct, but they haven't shown what specifically he was masturbating to. Basically, it is canon that he is a pedophile, and how he was dealing with that. He still got into childlike girls and married all of them. Thus, the story wasn't able to fix his core turning off problem. Instead, he was treated like a sad bullied boy who was just born innocent pedophile. In the end, he did sleep with a minor. I don't care if she was an adult by Pedoshoku world logic, because there's still a massive age gap between them. What I'm trying to get at is that the world of Mushoku Tensei is written around Rudeus, where no one can suspect him as a possible child predator, preying and grooming his victims. That's right, the story wrote this world as a cover-up to make Rudeus' fantasies become real. Why else do you think he has 3 wives? This is exactly the problem. No matter what your argument might be, it doesn't change the fact that he is grooming children. There is nothing to defend here, and that's my point. Rudeus' father, someone that Rudeus looks up to, was shown as a predator who was fucking his maid. And the little innocent 40-year-old tried to justify his father, and now they live together still. And what's the worst is that the maid was described by his father as it's just his manlyhood desires, and he couldn't help himself. But that's totally fine, it's not his fault she looked hot. Basically implying, have fun all you want my dear son, just don't get caught. And the worst thing is, the girls are into him. He destroyed his own family. But that's fine, because men are so cool when they cheat on their own family. Basically, the story portrays women from their character designs, to their personalities, to their tropes, characterizations and actions, as nothing else but sex objects. It feels like whoever was writing this story never had a relationship before. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, raping women and making them fall for you is like the most stupid power fantasy you see in your average hentai. It's quite funny how the same people made fun of Sword Art Online, where the protagonist was an edgy self-insert, and him getting harem was bad writing. But when you have an edgy pedophile self-insert, it's totally fine. I guess Kirito can compete with a misogynistic protagonist like Lord Rudeus. Even though the funny thing is, Kirito never tried to fuck any of these girls, he was just into one girl, and he never forced himself into her. And Rudeus is into every girl and he's grooming them. Basically, the plot justifies this misogynistic pedophile by making him see see flashbacks when he was bullied, because he's so relatable. Oh my god, for real, for real. I'm not sure how about you guys, but I don't relate to this pathetic piece of shit, nor do I feel any sympathy for some idiot that can't control his raging hormones to prey on literal children. According to the novels, the blue-haired loli is good and bad. I wonder for what reason he married her. Like, this misogyny is so hilarious. So how does the plot make Rudeus' father to redeem himself? Well, the maid falls in love with him, and the story carries on as if nothing happened. Basically, he got redeemed because he made some girls wet. I assume the possible counter-argument would be the phenomenon called the trolley problem, where it doesn't matter how a character is portrayed, it doesn't have to follow some moral code to be entertaining. And I would agree, but there's one tiny problem. The story is a redemption story, and how the fuck the viewer is supposed to take it seriously when the protagonist gets even worse? And that's my point. The show is impossible to enjoy and is borderline written for degenerates. Like, I understand that his father eventually does scold Rudeus for treating women like shit, but after that, he sleeps with a 15-year-old girl, which beats the point. He will never ever be going to change, and even if he will do, it's going to be just covering up the fact that people shouldn't feel weird that he married 3 girls. Like, sure, you can technically make him behave like a normal person, but if he is still rewarded with these girls and he doesn't want to make a choice which one he loves the most, then there's no point to the story, and because of it, it's impossible to take it seriously. Mushoku Tensei is supposed to be a redemption story, a second chance at life if you will, where you become a better person. Rudeus was a pedophile, a piece of shit in his previous life, and in the next life he was still just a pedophile preying on children. The problem is, he hasn't changed one bit. He's still the same piece of shit as he was before. Just because the plot tries to justify it by making him relatable, that doesn't mean he fixed himself. In the end, all the girls have hots for him, even his stepsister. The story portrays men as predators, and apparently it's a good thing. It never gets fixed. In fact, the protagonist creates a cult for his wives. The story is unbelievably bad, and whoever defends it should look at it twice. If he was truly a human being, he wouldn't have groomed children and married 3 girls. He would have tried to literally fix himself, as the story intended to, and he does this for his social anxiety. But the misogyny and the pedophilia part are still in there, and the plot never attempts to get rid of it. So much for being a redemption story. The only good thing about this story is animation and the score. Everything else is shit, and well, this is where I'm going to end it. If you like this dogshit story, like most anime celebrities do, you're the problem here, and go find better stories to watch. And I've been Velocious, and I hope you had fun watching this dogshit video. Leave a dislike.